Elon Musk and others. Right now, they're in the halcyon moment with Donald Trump, but they will come to the Hades moment with him. It's just a matter of time because you're not going to be able to do some of the things that he wants you to do. And a lot of these people won't be able to put themselves in these moral pretzels that
Yeah.
Donald Trump wants to twist you into. There is a reason why 40 of us tried to tell the American people what the danger was.
And we've been joined by Anthony Scaramucci, the former Donald Trump communications director turned into, well, a strong opponent of Donald Trump, to put it mildly. And he's on the line. Welcome to you, Anthony.
Not apparently not strong enough. I mean, definitely a strong opponent, but congratulations to him. He pulled out quite a victory.
He certainly did. And maybe there's nothing you could have done about that, Anthony. But let me ask you about that. I mean, you said, all over the world, millions of people heard you saying that Kamala Harris would win and win big. I don't want to rub your nose in that. A lot of people thought she was going to do okay.
Listen, it's okay to rub my nose in it. I got something wrong. It's like you have to.
Yeah.
You have to own up to things when you get things wrong. I missized his support. Ultimately, if you don't mind, I'll tell a quick allegory. There was a meme for her. It was a father standing in the polling booth, and the little girl was asking her, "Dad, who are you voting for?" And he looked down at her and said, "I'm voting for you." The implication was reproductive freedom, etc.
Yes.
But that's actually not what happened. I thought that was going to happen. What happened was there was a mom in that voting booth looking down at her son, and the son asking that question. Because if you look at the crosstabs and you look at the data, 46% of the women voted for Donald Trump because they don't like the woke culture and they don't like what the woke culture is doing to their young boys. And that was something I missed. And listen, I have to own that. It won't be the last mistake I make in my life, trust me. But I think the Democrats have to now have a reckoning with themselves in terms of what their messaging is and what their narrative is. You don't want to be scolds in life. I don't think that's helping anybody. Condescending prigs probably don't win elections.
Yeah. I mean, look, Anthony, I'm assuming you still consider yourself a Republican, do you? Though not a Trump Republican.
Yeah, no, listen, I've been a lifelong Republican. I don't like the rhetoric that Mr. Trump's talking about. I mean, we can go over it if you want. He's talking about using the American military against his adversaries. I guess that would include me. He's talking about non-white immigrants to the country in a very dehumanizing way. The language is not the language of an American democracy. It's the language of an autocrat. And I think it's very, very dangerous. And I want my fellow Americans, if they can't love each other, I certainly want everybody to love each other. If you can't do that, let's respect each other. But he was doing things that were outside of the norms while he was president, and he was doing things outside of the norms while he was campaigning. And so let's see what he does now with another 4 years that the American people have bestowed on him to lead the country. But I don't like it, and I think people have to speak out about it if they love the country.
Yeah, well, we'll see what he does. And I wonder what more people can do beyond simply speaking out. I mean, in your case, you're not the only Republican who came down against Donald Trump. Liz Cheney famously did, former Congresswoman, her father, Dick Cheney, vice president to George W. Bush. I mean, no one would ever mistake Dick Cheney for a liberal. He was as conservative as it gets, often called a neocon. He was against Donald Trump. And I was talking just a short while ago here on the program to another former congressman, Republican, Joe Walsh, and he was telling me how the party, the party that he fell in love with, he said it was dead, despite, after what happened in this election. So I asked him, where does he go now?
Yeah, I'm not going to sit still. I'm still young enough. I'm not going to sit still. I can see Liz Cheney and my friend Adam Kinzinger and a number of us putting together something new. I can see a number of us becoming Democrats. The point is, we're all sort of disparate right now. Now that this election's come and gone and we lost big time, I think all of us in this politically homeless space need to come together and chart our way forward. But I intend to be at the front of that.
So that's Joe Walsh there talking about, jumping ship, maybe starting a new party with like-minded friends and colleagues, maybe even joining the Democrats. Anthony Scaramucci, are you thinking of any such thing?
It's a little early for me. I have to let some time pass and try to make that decision very carefully. I think the Republican Party that I knew, the one that Joe's speaking about there, is long gone. Donald Trump, I
Dead
think
for good,
history.
you think, Anthony? Dead for good?
I do think so. Yes, I think gone and put away. R.I.P. The death actually took place on November the 7th. It died. I mean, or the November the 5th. I meant to say. It was gasping and dying in 2016. Trump finished it on election day. And look, it is what it is. He was actually a third party insurgent. He very wisely took control of one of the two traditional parties. It was a hostile takeover. He dumped himself and his philosophy into that party, and then he scared the daylights out of any of the traditionalists, and so they conformed to him. And they're all there. They denounced him profusely, and then they supported him. Paul Ryan is the rare exception. He said, "Okay, I can't stomach this. I'm going to leave," and he stepped down from being the Speaker of the House, and he left the Congress. And so these other guys, they fell in line with him. And let me tell you something: the people that are going to go work for him, the day of their demise starts on the first day of that job. And they'll keep that job if they're willing to compromise their principles and compromise their ethics. If they're not willing to do that, they'll be in a food fight with him very shortly thereafter. They'll be getting lit up by him on Truth Social. Elon Musk and others, right now, they're in the halcyon moment with Donald Trump, but they will come to the Hades moment with him. It's just a matter of time, because you're not going to be able to do some of the things that he wants you to do. And a lot of these people won't be able to put themselves in these moral pretzels that Donald Trump wants to twist you into. There is a reason why 40 of us tried to tell the American people what the danger was. But the democracy has spoken. The people have spoken. And I'm a good sport, and I'm not a sore loser. But I have to think about what I'll be doing politically.
Yes.
And I think we've got to wait a little bit of time for that.
Okay, it's going to be so fascinating to see how, I suppose, tortured Republicans like yourself deal with these dilemmas. Just the last few moments of the program, I want to talk about what's going on at the moment, which is Donald Trump and his team considering major appointments to his closest team in the White House, who are going to be deciding so much when it comes to this really, really radical agenda. We're looking at one of the networks earlier on. It was CNN. They floated the possibility of Marjorie Taylor Greene, the absolutely fiery Georgia congresswoman, becoming Homeland Security Secretary. Well, it stoked a memory in the minds of me and my team here in Washington, because we were all in Milwaukee a couple of months back for the Republican National Convention. And one of our team, a multimedia reporter, Joe Crawford, talked to Marjorie Taylor Greene there. It wasn't the friendliest conversation. Let's remember it back.
I have some of the most highest amount of death threats because of people like you, because you choose to only take certain words from people, and then that's what you want to report. Shame on you. Shame on you.
But
because
no.
You're the problem. And where's this woman from?
The Times.
You're
London.
from the Times? Okay, you're ridiculous. And you're the problem in our country. You lie about people like me. This is the first time you've ever talked to me. I want you to know I'm a regular person like you. I'm also a mom. I have 3 kids. And we have to put up with the most unreal amount of bullshit because of little liars like you that take your job and turn it into political activism. Your job is the press. You should report the news, not lie. Not lie about it. You don't get to ask any more questions. I'm done with you. Because you're the cause. You're
One
the
more
cause
thing. You
of
call
our
the
country.
Democrats a
No.
party
You're
of
the cause of
pedophiles.
our
Do you have any
country being
response to
divided.
that?
You're the cause of our country being divided. You're the cause of President Trump almost being assassinated. You're the cause of everything wrong
where's
in
your
America.
evidence for those claims?
No. You're done. You're done. Yeah, go back.
Thank
Go back.
you.
Well, that was not what you call a friendly interview. Anthony Scaramucci, what do you think about the idea? It may never happen, but the idea of Marjorie Taylor Greene entering the higher ranks of the cabinet under Donald Trump.
Well, I mean, she would be better than my old friend Tom Toman. Tom is talking about revoking birthright citizenship. So if your mom was here in the country and she had birth to you, but she wasn't naturalized properly, they would revoke your citizenship and they'd round all of you guys up and deport you. So I don't know. I mean, I will have to see what really happens here. If they live up to every promise, they will destroy the fabric of the country. They're talking about 15 million deportations. Even if they did 1.8 million, which is the size of our prison population, that's an $88 billion expense to the taxpayer. It'll crush our GDP. It'll hurt our tax revenues, our Social Security trust. So I don't know. We'll have to see if these guys really mean what they say, we're in for a lot of dystopian stuff. If they don't mean what they say and they try to govern like moderate Republicans, they're inheriting a great economy from Joe Biden's team. So we'll see, sir.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's certainly going to be plenty of headlines before and on the way to big, extraordinary decisions. Look,
You
talking
got
about
a
big
room for me.
headlines,
You got room for me at the Times Radio. I may need to
plenty of
sleep
room.
under your. I may need to sleep under your desk.
There's an open door for you, Anthony Scaramucci. Let me just
I
mention a story
appreciate
now
it.
breaking in the Times right now. The possibility being floated, being argued for, of Prince Harry being deported from this country under Donald Trump. You'll be aware of that controversy about his visa application over the suggestion of past drug use. Can you imagine Prince Harry being put on a plane, Anthony?
Well, no, but I could imagine the possibility of a journalist being jailed in this country now. I would have never said that. I'm 60 years old. I would have never said that for the first 59 and a half years of my life. But now I think we're going to be doing things. And what happens is we'll be doing things. There'll be some outrage. There'll be some ignoring of the outrage. And then they'll boil the frog a little bit harder.